is Indy Next by Firestone. With live coverage of today's practice, this is the IndyCar Radio Network.
Well, not all race weekends are created equal. Some are just a little more interesting than others, and that's what we have here. Is once again, we're at Road America for practice number 2 of Indy Next by Firestone. Field of 21 heading out of the racetrack for this second practice session. My name's Nick Gilman. Davey Hamilton is our driver analyst. Let's get you caught up because it has been, as I mentioned, a wild weekend. The news yesterday, if you missed it, Ricardo Juncos, Brad Hollinger have made the decision that Agustin Canapino will not be driving car 78 in the IndyCar Series this weekend. That car is going to go to Indy Next veteran Nolan Siegel. We thought when we went to bed last night, perhaps Nolan Siegel will be doing double duty this weekend. Well, that's not the case because it was announced this morning that Siegel will only drive in the IndyCar Series race. And just moments ago, it is confirmed as we see that car 39 pull off pit lane that it's not going to sit idle for the weekend, that it's going to be piloted by the 20-year-old Brazilian Kiko Porto, who made 3 starts a year ago for Cape Motorsports. Yesterday, it was all Louis Foster who paced the field with a quick time at a minute 51.907. That was 0.2 of a second faster than Kyle Collette and a half a second faster than everybody else. So Foster, who comes in with a tremendous amount of momentum after winning the last 2 races, was very fast in that practice yesterday. As for today's practice, it has been clean and green so far. But Ryan Marine, I know you've got one eye on the racetrack and one eye upwards towards the sky as the conditions certainly not as nice as yesterday and probably not as nice as what we're going to see tomorrow.
That's right, and they've been variable this morning so far. 64-degree ambient temperatures, that's been pretty stable, but cloud cover has been coming and going. We had the sun peeking out a few minutes ago. That's now gone. When I came out to pit lane about 15 minutes before this session, it was actually quite damp. We had a little sprinkle that had come through the area. That pretty much dried. Then about a minute or 2 ago, it started sprinkling again. That has since stopped again. So I think all these teams will be monitoring the radar, monitoring the skies as well. There is a chance for rain throughout the day today until about 2 o'clock local time. Nothing major, just some passing showers, things like that. But here in the Midwest, it's always possible something could pop up and throw a whole big wrench into these teams' plans for these practices and qualifying coming up today.
Right now, too, turn. Yeah, can't tell.
It's Callum Hedge.
Oh, it's Hedge, yeah.
Down at turn 14, and that has been a trouble spot. In fact, that's almost nearly identical, Davey, where Roman Grosjean buried the front end of his car. As for Callum Hedge, it is pretty significant. The rear wing on that thing is destroyed for the driver from New Zealand competing here at Road America.
Yeah, matter of fact, we'll see a replay here in a minute, but got way off in the gravel, hit that barrier. It's tires with a rubber banner over it, basically, so the tires stay together. You can see he just locked the car up, got in a little bit too high, spun a couple times, went across that gravel trap pretty quick, hits the back, fairly good clip, takes that wing, as you said, right off it, bends that rear suspension up. You can see the toe on the right rear tire right now. It's wiped out. I mean, it's way forward right now. He's going to get out of that car. He's going to be done for this session.
Well, if you're worried about how much pace there was in the racetrack, Kyle Collette has proven there is plenty as he has turned the fastest lap of the weekend. As we see Jordan Missick going, bouncing his way from turns 12, 13, and 14. And there's James Rowe going off into the runoff area, and Jack William Miller follows him, Davey, there in Canada corner.
Well, he bowed. Wow, that was a little wild. It showed Rowe just went off, and then shows him going back on track. All of a sudden, we see Jack Miller's car slide through, almost hitting him as he's coming back on track. That was a close call. As we see,
Miles Rowe
spun as well. Man, they 3 cars off, all within about 5 seconds of each other. But they all continued on. Is the yellow out? No, it's still green. It's just everybody's pulling in right now. It's like, what the heck? Now, this could be the rain, right? That's Canada corner back there.
Yeah.
It's backside the racetrack.
Here's your 2-time winner, Louis Foster.
So it could be a situation where there is some moisture on the track, and we don't see it right here in front of us, but there could be some over there, because having that many cars go off in that short amount of time tells me it's something.
Here, they're all kind of the same spot. Here's a replay, Davey, of James Rowe sailing it through Canada corner, and then Jack Miller comes sliding from right to left, if you're watching the cameras.
Yeah, that was very fortunate that they didn't have contact. 2 separate incidents, really, but almost came together. And coming up 13 right now is that...
that was Missick.
Oh, that was Missick. And, man, he went off one area, across grass. That thing's definitely like a four-wheel drive. Looks like Robbie Gordon's truck's going through there right now. But back on track. I have to think, without knowing right off, I feel there's a little moisture over in that area.
And you know what? Looking at some of the camera lenses, Davey, I think that kind of backs it up at that part of the racetrack.
Yeah, there you go, right there. You can see some moisture on the lenses right there. Moisture's never good, right? Especially on these high-speed places, just like we've seen. When it shows up quickly and you don't know it, a lot of cars go off. Fortunately, nobody has any damage. But it's just not worth the risk of putting the reins on with this short amount of time left, knowing that it's going to be going away.
Is there also a risk, David? I mean, there's so many electronics on these race cars. It's never good for the rain to just fall on them if they're sitting on pit lane uncovered. But being out of the racetrack at speed, is that something you worry about as well?
You don't. You know, it's pretty protected. They have all the electronics really protecting these cars. They're made to race in the rain. We know that. So it doesn't. You never want to do it. It makes a mess out of your race car too, by the way. I mean, just like your street car. You got in the rain, you come back, it's just a lot of dirt and stuff, a lot of stuff around. So it's not that good to do. And we see, like I say, majority of the cars are going to sit here. I'm sure they have somebody on the back part of the race course telling them if it's wet or if it's dry and if they should go or not. Again, it's still green flag with 18 minutes to go, and we'll just have to wait and see if it's going to drive enough for them to give it a shot.
All right, well, looks like we have at least one taker.
Yeah.
And it's Louis Foster, who's one of the fastest
drivers. On reins, by the way.
Yeah, he's on the wet weather tires, and it looks like Kiko Porto has decided, you know what, I'm going to follow you, except Ryan Marine just let us know he's not on the wet weather tires. Dave, he's on slicks. Here comes Jacob Abel. Those appear...
Yeah, I think everybody else is on slicks. I think Foster's the only one on rain tires.
Well, one driver who will not get a chance to race on this damn track is Callum Hedge, who brought up the first red flag. He's standing by the primary.
Yeah, that's right. First thing, Callum, just want to make sure you're doing all right. What happened that brought out that red flag?
No, I'm totally fine. We just had a brake failure on the front axle, so not a lot you can do about there. Come into the corner, the pedal went to the floor. I still had rears, so when I spun around, that was because the rear brakes locked. So not ideal. The car was really, really good, I think, and I still don't think it'll set us back up.
What does that do to your psyche, having gone through a situation like that where you're counting on the brakes to slow you down and they weren't there?
Honestly, nothing really. I had mechanical problems before. I haven't really had a brake failure before, but it was one corner on one lap. I've jumped on the brakes plenty of times and that worked. So to be honest, I'm not really too phased. I'm really confident in my guys from H&D Motorsports. They're giving me a really fast car this weekend, so we'll go out and see if we can do the business.
What do you think of this place, Road America?
10 out of 10. It doesn't really get much better. For me, so far, this is my personal favorite of the tracks that we've been to on the calendar. It's actually also one of the only ones that I've actually driven on before. So one of two that I've driven on before the season. So love this place, love this track, and love it driving this car.
The driver currently getting after it is the pilot of that yellow and black ticket clinic law firm, number 10, Reese Gold, fastest so far at a minute 50.584. He served 14 laps in this session, and he is the quickest of the 21 car field. Louis Foster nipping at his heels. He's less than a tenth off. Second quick right now. Foster's Andretti Global teammate James Rowe is in the mix. He sits third, about 2/10 of a second off, and it's Jacob Abel and Michael D'Orlando in the top five. Kyle Collette is sixth. Salvador de Alba has been bumped to seventh. Jamie Chapman is eighth. Josh Pearson is ninth. And 10th is Bryce Aaron. 11th is Christian Vogel. Yuvan Sundaramurthy has found some speed. He's made his way up into the 12th spot. Nolan Aller is 13th. Niels Colin is 14th. Jordan Missick is 15th. Missick had to serve a black flag earlier with no balance on one of the rear wheels, but he's 15th quick right now for Able Motorsports. The checkered flag is out. The last handful of drivers completing some laps. Doesn't appear like anybody's got anything for Reese Gold, so that's going to be a nice confidence boost, Davey. I think for Reese Gold, who came into this season, second year in Indy NXT, won a race a year ago, thought he'd be a championship contender. Really hasn't been the case right now. He's 8th in the points, 97 back. I wouldn't say he's out of it, but if he's going to get back in it, performances like this are going to need it.
Really good run by him. I mean, him and, as you said, Foster, Rowe, Abel, D'Orlando, Collette, Chadwick, and D'Alba Jr., they're on top of each other on times. I mean, they're really, really close, so it's anybody's game there.
Gold, Foster, Rowe, Abel, and D'Orlando, your top five here in Indy NXT by Firestone.
Anyhow, it's definitely overcasty, but the clouds look high to me. I feel like it's going to the east and it's getting clear from the west, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Still shows 60% right now, but it's dry.
I have meteorologist friends, and I've always told them that the best thing is just predict that it's going to rain every single day, because then you're either right And if you're wrong and it's a sunshiny day, nobody cares that you said it was going to rain.
there's more sun than rain, so you're going to be way above your 50%, right?
Yeah, you only get in trouble if you predict beautiful weather and then it rains. So just say it's going to rain every day and get away with it. But that's going to do it for us here at Indy Next by Firestone practice number 2. Let's give you the rest of the schedule for today. IndyCar practice coming up in 20 minutes at 11:10 Eastern time, 10:10 local time. Then Indy Next qualifying at 2:30 Eastern. IndyCar qualifying at 3:25 Eastern. Let's hear from Reese Gold before we wrap things up. He's standing by with Ryan Marine.
Quickest in that session. How good do you think the race car is looking ahead to qualifying later today?
Yeah, I'm super happy with that. We struggled yesterday a lot, but they gave me a great car today, so thanks to everyone in HMD in the 10 car. But yeah, I mean, practice ran great, so hopefully we can get a good qualifying. I think we have a good race car, so it should be good.
As we start to chat, the raindrops start to fall again. How difficult was that session with the conditions so variable?
Yeah, it was definitely difficult with the off and on. You know, you didn't really know, especially in the back section in Canada. You know, every time you go in there, you don't really know what's going to be, but hopefully it stays dry. But either way, hopefully we can get it done.
Field looks super tight and competitive. Good luck in qualifying.
Thank you.